Hi, everybody. Welcome to yoga. I understand that there were some connection issues earlier today for the live yoga class, the live stream. So I do apologize for that. I think there were some internet connection issues on my end. So I just wanted to record that class, that same exact class that you weren't able to access so that you're able to do it, so that you're still able to do it. So again, I do apologize for that. It's very frustrating sometimes with technology, but we're all in this together. All right, so let's just get started. We're going to come to a nice seat on our mat, sitting nice and tall. Ensure that our sit bones are rooted into our mat. And we're just going to start focusing on our breath. We always like to start with taking some nice easy breaths in through our nose and out through our mouth. Nice open mouth exhale. Again, inhale and out. And see if you can make that exhale nice and long. Again, inhale and out. This is a good time to set your intention for class today. Could be as simple as, why am I here? What do I want to get out of the class today? Maybe somebody that you want to dedicate the class to. Or if you can't think of anything, I have a few questions that I saw around the internet the last couple weeks. And there's just some questions to ponder, especially during this time of uncertainty, maybe a time of isolation for some of us. Just things to think about and reflect on. So the first question is, what am I grateful for? I always say that gratitude is the pathway to joy. So when we're being grateful, it really can lead us to being happier people. And I think now more than ever, it's good to focus on gratitude. And the second question, what expectations of normal am I letting go of today? Obviously these are not normal times. And so it's especially important to reflect on that. Things that, that we can no longer do at this time. So again, what expectations of normal am I letting go of today? And then the third question, what beauty am I creating, cultivating, or inviting in today? So I know this can be a very difficult time for a lot of us, but it's still important to know that we can still create something beautiful out of all this. We always have that power to create something beautiful in a seemingly dark time. So those are just a couple questions, just things to think about today or throughout your week. Let's take a nice big inhale and out. Good. We're going to start with a seated cat-cow. Normally this is done on our hands and knees, but for those of you that are in the office or at home on the couch, this might be a little bit easier for you. So seated cat-cow, we're going to inhale, open up our chest, squeeze our shoulder blades, and exhale, round the back, tuck your chin. Nice and easy. Inhale, arch your back, and exhale, roll your back. It's so important to match our breath with our movement. Breathe in and out. Do two more just like that, and go at your own pace. This is your time. Good. One more. Arch your back. And roll your back. Good. Let's sit back up. Nice straight back. Again, roll those shoulders back. Good. We're going to add in a twist now. We're going to take our left hand, place it on your right knee, and twist to the right. Remember thinking about twisting using your mid back, not so much your hips. You really want to sit tall and just twist that spine. Look over your shoulder. Making sure we're not overextending. We don't want to pull anything. Just a nice little twist. Remember to breathe. Good. One more breath. And come back to center. Again, make sure nice and centered. And then other side. Right hand, left knee, and twist. Every inhale, we're lengthening. And every exhale, we're twisting a tiny bit more. One more breath. Good, let's come back to center. Next, we're going to do a side bend. So we're going to inhale, bring the arms overhead, and lean to one side. Holding this for 2 more breaths. So we're inhale, lengthening, and exhaling a little bit more. Inhale, back up center. Exhale, other side. Good, breathe in, back up to center, and hands to your side. Good, next we're going to do a couple hip circles. Have our hands right on our thighs. What we're going to do is tiny little circles. And you can make these a little more dramatic as you go, warming up the hips. Good for the back too, lower back. We're just going to do 10 circles one way and then 10 the other. It's a good time to just notice you aware of our body, what's tight, what feels good, what feels tight or tense. Let's go 2 more. Good, back to center, go the other direction. They're rounding, making sure we're still staying grounded on our mat with those sit bones. We have a tendency to lift up our hips. We want to make sure those stay grounded. Breathing, keeping our spine straight too as we do this. Let's go for one more circle. Good, and let's come to a neutral position. Great, we're all warmed up there. We're going to come to a tabletop position, hands and knees. Making sure our wrists are right below our shoulders and our knees are about hip width apart. I come to a bird dog position, a little balanced pose plus working the core muscles. The right arm comes out like we're shaking someone's hand. The left leg comes back into space. And making sure that our shoulders come away from our ears, creating space, really sending energy in your foot and your arm, really elongating, keeping that core nice and tight and our back is flat. Let's take one more breath. And release. Good. And let's find balance again. So other side, left arm comes out, right leg comes back. Okay, we're gonna take 3 breaths. And pressing that left leg into the mat will help you feel more grounded. Engage your core, 1 more breath. Good, and release. Neutral spine. Let's bring our knees wide. We're going to do a wide-legged child's pose. To bring those hips back. Arms come out in front of us. A little bit of a back stretch. And good for the hip flexors. This is a little difficult. That's okay. We're still getting warmed up. But again, for every inhale, come up, and exhale, we just sink a little bit more. As far as you can, that's comfortable. This is a relaxing pose. This could be a home base pose if you need a minute to breathe, to come back to that intention. You can always come to child's pose. Okay, we're going to come up to our tabletop position again. And we're going to bring our right foot in between our hands and come up. This leg, this knee is going to be at 90 degrees. Now what we're going to do is kind of lean into that, making sure our knee does not go over our ankle. I want to stay right here. You have to inch that back foot back. That's fine too. Really bring those hips forward into this. Your hands can stay here, or arms can come up, low lunge. Really breathe into this. Low lunge. So we're keeping our back straight. We don't want to be coming back like this. Back stays nice and tall. Good, 1 more breath. And exhale, we're going to frame our foot, come back to that tabletop. And let's switch to the left side. The left leg comes through. And we come up to low lunge. Again, check yourself. Make sure you can, again, that knee is not going over your toes. And again, we sink into this. Again, if you need to inch that back foot back so you can get more of a stretch, you really feel this in your hips, but also that quadricep, that back quadricep. Nice stretch. And then raise your arms up, low lunge. Let's take 1 more breath. You're doing great. And exhale, let's frame our foot. Back to that tabletop. And next what we're going to do is come up to a plank position. So we can inch your arms just a few inches up your mat. And let's curl our toes under and we come up to plank position. You need to inch out your feet. Okay, core, keeping that core nice and tight, and those wrists are right below your shoulders. Gonna hinge slightly forward. All we're gonna do is lower our knees down. So we're gonna do a knees, chest, chin pattern. So knees come down, keeping those elbows in. We'll bring our chest down, and then our chin. So our hands are right below our armpits. Inhale, cobra. And release, let all that air out. Okay, we'll do that 2 more times. So inhale, cobra. And out. Just let all that air release. Okay, Okay, and one more. Inhale. And release. Okay, good. Very good. All right, next we're going to come up to child's pose. So again, wide-legged child's pose. Sink back into this. You should feel a little bit more warmed up now. And now is a good time again to think about that intention that you set earlier, if you set one. Or you can think about those questions. What am I grateful for? What beauty am I creating? What sense of normalcy am I letting go of? Good. Inhale, back up to the tabletop. We're going to bring our handprint, about one handprint in front of where they were. Curl the toes under. Bring those hips up to the ceiling. Downward facing dog. And you can just pedal out your feet here. Maybe sway from side to side. Just go with it. Everyone's at a different place. So just kind of pedal out your feet. Really get warmed up here. Good, and we're going to slowly walk our feet to our hands. We'll come to a forward fold position, or you can also do a ragdoll, where you just kind of hang. Maybe grab opposite elbows. If you do have a block, this is a good time to use that. You can always come here if that's more comfortable. Or even lower. Forward fold. All right, and let's slowly round the back up. Walk our hands up our body for mountain pose. And I always like to take a moment and really appreciate mountain pose. This is a yoga pose, okay? So you can tell people that you're doing yoga, just standing here. But what's important, it's called Tadasana. So from our feet all the way to our crown, this is a power pose. So we have a slight sliver between our big toes. We have a slight bend in our knees. Our hips are nice and not too far forward or back. It's right in the middle. And they're squared all the way up to our shoulders. Shoulders roll back. Chest is up. And our palms are facing forward. Lift your chin. Tadasana. Okay, and this is the first pose in our sun salutation, which will start right now. So we're going to come to the top of our mat. Starts Tadasana. Sun salutation. Inhale your arms up. And exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift your chest. Exhale, step back to plank position. And the lower all the way down to the mat, and that knees, chest, chin. So knees, elbows in, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, curl the toes, downward facing dog. Hips come up. We're going to take 3 breaths here in our downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, look up. We're going to walk right in between our hands for that halfway lift. Sweep the arms up. And exhale, hands to your side. Good. All right, next we'll shift right into a balance pose. I always like to focus on balance. It's so important no matter how old or young we are, that we need to practice balance. So we're going to be doing one of my favorites called Vrikshasana, tree pose. So make sure you have enough space, because if we ever lose balance, we want to make sure we're not going to bump into anything. Now, tree pose, we're going to start by balancing our right foot. So our left foot can come here for a kickstand, or to our ankle and calf, or all the way up to our inner thigh. I'm most comfortable at my calf. Just always make sure you're not pressing your foot against your knee. I want to make sure that we don't want to have anything hitting our knee like that or having pressure on our knee. Good, you can come here, have your hands at heart center. Like you bring your arms overhead. And it's okay if you wobble a little bit. Just make sure your hips are staying open and we're standing tall. And breathing is very important with balance. A lot of times breathing can balance us if we're thinking about almost falling. Just focus on your breath. That can really bring us back to that balance pose again. All right, you can certainly stay here, but if you want to go for a challenge pose, you can bring that knee forward, flex that foot, and then bring the hips hinge forward as you press your leg back. Warrior 3 pose. You can bend, a slight bend in that knee that you're balancing on. Keeping that core nice and tight. Good. All right, let's bring it back to tree pose. And release. Very good. All right, shake that out a little bit. Even if you stayed in tree pose the whole time, that is awesome too. But just think about challenging yourself a little bit. Maybe today, Warrior 3 isn't going to happen, but it could someday. So just think about little ways you can challenge yourself with these poses. All right, other side. So I just usually do the same so that it's even. So back to my calf. Again, hands to heart center. Finding that breath, finding that balance. I always say there's usually one side that has a little bit more balance, or maybe a little bit easier to balance on. So I think for me it's my left side. I'm very balanced on my left side. Bring your arms overhead. Breathe. And find that focal point. Good. All right, again, you can certainly stay here, or you can come Warrior 3. Again, knee comes forward, flex that foot, and lean forward as you straighten that leg. I'm going to actually go a little bit more forward, otherwise I'll hit my back wall. And if you want to see what it looks like from the side, Warrior 3. Again, pressing that leg behind you. Looks like it coming out to a T. The leg that I'm standing on has a slight bend. Whoop. Good, and release. Alrighty, so shake that out. It's certainly a good leg exercise, hamstrings, just full body really. Alright, good. Alright, next we're going to bring our legs out wide leg, probably a little bit wider than shoulder width. And we're just going to come down into a yogi squat. It's called malasana. So you can bring your hands to heart center, and we're just going to squat down. And this is as far as you can go. That's fine. Maybe you can have a chair behind you for support. I'm going to come a little bit further down, malasana. And you can use your elbows, press those into your knees. Get further down into the stretch. Also opens up your chest, keeping your back straight. So you don't want to be like this, okay? Don't really want to round the back. You want to stand tall. If you have that block with you, you can use that for support. You can sit on it like this. Or, again, you can sit a little bit higher. Again, making sure our back is straight, chest is up. One more breath. And you can ease down into a seat. Let's take a little sip of water. Good. Now we'll kind of do that side stretch that we did earlier. Kind of bring it back around. So let's breathe in, arms overhead. And lean to one side. And hopefully you're all warmed up now that this feels a little bit easier. Hopefully you feel a little more relaxed. Muscles are kind of warmed up. Let's take one more breath. Good. Inhale, back up to center. And exhale, other side. Good, one more breath. Good. Inhale, back up to center. And exhale, hands to your side. Good, and we're going to end today with a seated Shavasana. And now normally Shavasana is done in a supine position, laying down on your mat. But for those of you, again, that are in the office or maybe sitting on your couch, we're just going to end with a seated Shavasana. So again, bringing that awareness back to your intention that you set earlier. Shavasana is a time of just quiet, just stilling the body, stilling the mind. And it's not a time of just thinking about nothing, because that's impossible, but it's a time to just think freely. If a thought comes up, we just accept it and let it pass. You can flutter your eyes closed if that feels comfortable to you. As we focus on our breath, again, inhale and exhale. Just relax the muscles in your face. Relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders. Notice any tension in your shoulders, your back. And I like to end class today with a quote. I always say quotes are a great way for us to connect and to find meaning in something. It's a great way to find a way to understand like a situation you're going through. Quotes can be very helpful, so I like to share those at the end of class. And I found this one. My mom actually shared it with me a couple weeks ago when all this quarantine, this virus was starting, and a lot of things obviously were starting to close, and they still are closed. So I hope this quote helps you. And it goes, so when this is over, may we never again take for granted a handshake with a stranger, full shelves at the store, conversations with neighbors, a crowded theater, Friday night out, the taste of communion, a routine checkup, the school rush each morning, coffee with a friend, the stadium roaring, each deep breath. A boring Tuesday, life itself. When this ends, may we find that we have become more like the people we wanted to be, we were called to be, we hope to be. And may we stay that way, better for each other because of the worst. I'm not sure who wrote that quote, so I wish I knew. I would certainly cite who that was, but I hope that helps you today. I hope this class helped, and I hope you can take that quote that I shared, also the reflection questions that I shared earlier, and think about those today and throughout your week. So let's take one more deep breath in and out. Well, thank you all for coming to class today. I will be posting more videos like this. Feel free to check out the other videos that we have that my coworkers Laura and Becky have shared. There's a lot of good stuff in those videos. So I hope to see you next time. Bye.